Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Friday, June 12, 2015. The question bar is open, folks. If ever you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Today's going to be a show dedicated mostly to your questions because we don't have really markets that are volatile today. Actually, if we take a look at the market situation, we do have market situation where the Nasdaq today slightly resumed its bearish momentum, but still remains totally neutral. Actually, the Nasdaq has been the best index of the week, but the Dow Jones resuming its bearish momentum. So we still believe on MarketGurus.tv that the probability that markets will go lower is still present. On the TSX, we're going down also as well. We have gold that slightly took a hit but rebounded slightly. So this is why yesterday a lot of those gold stocks, well, Eldorado Gold so far is doing pretty well. Barry Gold, which was a short opportunity yesterday, is rebounding. So far my call on Eldorado Gold maybe was not appropriate because the stock is losing some percentage again. But on gold, really, it's a sector where we still have some weakness, but that's not as strong as the energy sector, where the weakness is really strong. And this is why today on MarketGurus.tv, that you can have access for free for 10 days, we have decided to take some profit on ERY, which is the bearish ETF that tracked the energy sector on the US, and we decided to take a second round of profit on a top like that, on that stock at $20. So now let's take some questions here. Z just ask questions. You seem to put a lot of trust in the stochastics. How to make sure you got the right parameters? Well, Z, it all depends. We cannot only rely on the stochastics to determine if a stock is going to be a buy or a sell. So what we actually, we try to use 2 stochastics, 933 and 1555. So how to make sure we have the right parameters? We cannot be sure. It's really sometimes some sort of a trial and error, and take a look at your past trade to see which stochastics perform better. So I give you an example, the stock like Dominion Diamond. Look at here. This is the 950 stochastics, and you see that the 950 stochastics here in Dominion Diamond, so far when we were just leaving the oversold situation, it did perform well. It did give some nice entry point. Now, for the 950 stochastics, is it reliable all the time? No, not always, because look at this here. Here we had the stochastics that were tilting towards the overbought situation, but it was really short-lived. We just tested that top and the stock went back down even further down. So you cannot always rely on that. So what you could do is to try the 1555 stochastics. And look at the 1555 stochastics. Those are all the points that have performed well with the 933. Now, were they the same with the 1555? Well, so far I see that on the ones that have worked really well, the 1555 also was showing the same signal. So you could say to yourself, you know what, when the 1555 and 933 stochastics are showing the same technical signal or heading towards overbought situation, maybe it's more likely that the stock might perform well. So for instance, here you see when we had this short-term rebound here, the 1555 was totally overbought, while the 933 was showing us that we were just leaving the oversold situation. So this is actually something that you could use to determine, can I rely really on the stochastics, by using 2 or 3 more stochastics with different parameters. Another thing you could look at is the histogram. This is something I will look at a lot on marketgurus.tv. For instance, here, this rebound performed really well, as well as this one here. And then this one here, I want to mention this one here because this is clearly a bullish divergence. Why a bullish divergence? Because look at this. We had a bottom here. We had this bottom here that came lower than this one here. So normally the histogram was supposed to follow it and would have supposed to be lower than this histogram here. Or this histogram for this bottom here was higher. So you had, first of all, stochastics that was leading towards overbought situation, a good thing. That's the 932 stochastics. You also had the 1555 stochastics at this point that was also confirming a higher bottom compared to this one here. That's also positive. And you had the histogram here that was showing us a clear bullish divergence, because while we're going lower than that bottom here, the histogram was actually heading towards the top. So you actually have to use different indicators, but actually I think that using stochastics with different parameters, 933, 1555, combined with the histogram, you can actually make sure to get into to determine clearly if a stock has a higher probability of pursuing its rebound when it confirms a bottom. There's another question here from Al. It was from yesterday. So Al was the questions about Dara. So it was asking, should I sell this company? Well, this company here, they made an offer. It's a London English company that will acquire them. The shareholders of this company will hold 16% of the new company, and those shares of this company will be transformed into a ADR, American Deposit Receipt. So this is a some investors are not really happy with that. I think this is why we had this lawsuit, because the claims say that the board didn't acted in the benefit of shareholders. Look, it's a lawsuit, you know, not everybody can be happy when there's a transaction, when there's a trade like that, an exchange of shares. And I think it's kind of normal. I don't think you should only rely on that, put so much weight on this legal action against the board to say that, oh, this trade is not going to go through. I think you should actually look at for different other aspects also as well, and stay technical. As long as it stays above 90 cents for Dara Bioscience, I don't think you should get rid of that position. Now, GUD buy at 740. Well, GUD, it's a nice stock here because right now it's totally neutral. So 740, yes, I think it's definitely a great point. 740. Yeah, 740, 750. That's going to be the target for that. Now, one thing you could do is look at the histogram here. We have the histogram that's declining. So within this side of information, we don't have a lot of volume there on Knight Therapeutics. Also, I'm just going to add something else here. I'm going to add the volume unbalance. So, for instance, if I do this analysis, I'll add the volume unbalance to see if within this side of information here, do we have an increase in volume. So far, it's not so clear. It's not so clear. So it's staying neutral. So for me, 740, will that be a go? Well, that will confirm the reversal of this downward trend, yeah, around 740. But at 750, there's a risk that we might stop. And to get in within this other information right now, I don't think it's appropriate because the volumes are still neutral. It's worth to be watched though, but I think that stock is going to stay neutral for a while before breaking 740. At 740 will be a buy, but 750 will be the first pause on that stock, where we could expect a pause on a stock like Knight Therapeutics. So it would not be that optimal to get it into a stock like that at 740. Or if you want to get into neutral formation, what I would say is try to look at the volume unbalance, see if we can have an increase in the volume unbalance within this sideways formation, and that will you might feel more comfortable to get it into a stock like GUD. Now, hi Chris, do you think that DSK's answers of them needing to participate in a recreational session because of the stress of having to save the world from a financial crisis credible? Well, all of us, we all need some way to evacuate stress. That's what Mr. DSK choose. Who am I to judge, right? We all make mistakes, and well, if he loves this recreational use session, he enjoys them. He loves them, right? And I can't blame him. Is it credible? Well, he's just trying to save his case, right? He doesn't want to be in jail, especially when he has been on top for so long. So for me, everybody needs a way to relieve their stress. If that's the one he chooses, I'm not saying he's a mentor, but I'm just saying that that's his decision, right? That's his decision. But with this, of course, he can no longer be the French president. That's for sure. Now, we have one question here. So Pierre asked me for SG, so Stella Jones, and DLTR. Okay. So for Stella Jones, Pierre, it's a nice stock here for Stella Jones. The thing is, when to buy those stocks? Interesting. Stella Jones is becoming clearer and clearer. If the stock could go above 43.86, that's going to be a great buying signal. Those are the things that I like. The 10-day, even if the stock remains neutral, the 10-day, which is in red, is still above the 30-day moving average. And we see we're just testing the 30-day moving average there. So if ever there's a wave of buyers that's coming in and the stock goes above $44, that's going to confirm a clear breakout on that stock. Histogram is also heading towards positive territory, which is also a good thing. So for Stella Jones, we do have the bullish momentum that is building up. $44 as a go on a stock like that. As an exit point, I say below 42.50 on a stock like Stella Jones. As for DLTR, I'll get back to you in the next segment.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. So to finish Pierre's questions about DLTR, when to buy that stock, technically speaking, the stock will be about $80, right? And target for $83, $84. But if you're buying DLTR, look, it's a stock that continues to maintain its upward trend, a stock that's performing really well. You know, it's really a solid stock. Right now, there's a lot of consolidation also in the Family Dollar and the Family Dollar stores like Dollar Tree. And I definitely think that right now, I've not read a lot about Dollar Tree stores, fundamentally speaking, but for me, I think a stock that remains as solid as that has such a big market share on the US, I think that as long as the stock stays above $75, it's still a stock that you could buy for the medium to long term. I don't know if they're paying some dividends, maybe so or maybe not, I don't know. But right now, for me, everything is still okay on that stock as long as it stays above $75. and your loss is not that great though. If you get out at $75 and buying that stock right now, $82 will be a point where you might actually have a pause. And I think if you're buying that stock today, you could trade that stock, which means as long as you're making a 5 or 6%, take some profit and eventually continue to gradually increase your exposure if ever the stock maintains its upward trend. If it does reverse it below $75, that's another story. You're gonna have to close that position. Now, is there a better time of the day to day trade after opening, midday, afternoon, or how many times you trade a single stock a day? Thanks. Well, Carl, it all depends. Usually what we have found on MarketGurus.tv is around 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's actually when we have the best opportunities on those stocks, because you have more time between 10 and 12. You have more time for the stocks to actually give a push, and you also have until the end of the day. There might be some stocks that might explode late in the afternoon, but usually between 10 and 12, what we have found is that's where we actually have a lot of activity on the markets. For instance, look at that stock here, GERN, did a nice performance since 10 o'clock, right? It started at 10 o'clock where we do had some heightened activity. A stock like Kandi Technology, KNDI on NASDAQ, also around 10 o'clock started to actually be more active. So it's not a rule, but usually between 10 and 12, what we have found is that's actually where we have most active stocks. And actually the thing is that on MarketGurus.tv, every day around 10:30 or so, we always publish a list of the update of the stocks for day trading. So you could research every day around 10:30 or so. You have that list that is released, that it's an update. So first of all, we have a list of the stocks before the markets open, and at 10:30 we have an update, and actually those stocks tend to perform well. Usually those stocks that are here on that list we usually refer ourselves to that list to choose the stock is going to be our day trade of the day on our Facebook page. So that will be my answer to you. TGIF, thank you, Mario. TGIF to you too. What's your thought on PLI for buying? Should I be more patient or start buying by small lots? Thanks, and you have a great weekend. So PLI, what's my thought on it? So why do you want to buy PLI right now when the stock is actually on the verge of reversing an upward trend, right? There's still some weakness in that stock. I think it's too early to start to get it into PLI. 10-day in red is below the 30-day moving average, which is a negative signal. We went above the 10-day moving average, so there's a risk that PLI might go lower than 221 and reach 206. So to get in right now, no. However, those are the conditions you should look for. First of all, look for stochastics 30-40% range. That will confirm the strength of the buyers. Look for the histogram, MACD histogram 728.7. Start to see it starting to get towards positive territory. That will be another criteria. And the third one will be, what about the volume imbalance? So far the volume imbalance here is all declining, so which means that the wave of sellers there, it's not as active as much. So if ever you're starting to see an increase in the volume imbalance around 220, which corresponds to this important upward trend, I think that is a point where you might consider to say, is PLI confirming a bottom? So that will be actually a situation where around 220, if ever we do have an increase in the volume imbalance, that would be a point where you might consider that PLI might have reached a bottom. But right now, with the stochastics that's not yet tilting towards the overbought situation, with the declining MACD histogram, with this declining upward trend, with the fact that the 10-day is below the 30-day moving average and the stock is below its 100-day moving average and black could head towards 206, it's not a perfect timing to get it into PLI. It's a great company. The company has a nice story, but it's all about timing and technical analysis, and the timing is not there yet on a stock like that, because there's a risk that it might go lower towards 206 and reverse the important upward trend that started for the last few years. So all the other questions from Al, Mario, and Francois, I'm going to take them on Monday, folks. I wish you all a good weekend. So far today on the markets, borrowing markets, the thing is, if you had some short positions in the energy or gold stocks and where you can take some profits on them, do it. For instance, on MarketGurus.tv, we did it on ERY on New York, which was a bearish ETF on the energy sector. So have a good weekend and see you next week on the Swing Trading Show.